Hey, what's going on there, folks? Welcome back here to another update on this very rainy Sunday here in Northern California, February 4th, 2024. It's about 9:07 a.m. here, California time. Latest activity still rocking and rolling out there on the big island of Hawaii. We'll check out that activity here in just a minute. Covered some earthquake activity up in Iceland here first. We are getting a decent swarm of earthquake activity out here across the rift boundaries southwest of Grindavik. I've said to watch for this. We are kind of coming up here towards the 30-day time frame in between the past couple eruptions here. So we've got to keep an eye on this pretty close here. We could be seeing maybe some eruptive fissure activity open up around this area once again. It's kind of playing out how it did over the last couple eruptions here with elevated earthquake activity across rift zones. And then it kind of works its way up here. And then things get really interesting there as eruptive fissure activity opens up. So specifically around the Grindavik area today, definitely noticeable earthquake uptick. And that includes the area underneath Grindavik. But more concerning, of course, is the elevated activity out here that we've been kind of watching for across these rift boundaries. There's a 2.7, but there's quite a few other smaller quakes in here as well. Overall activity across the Iceland region looks elevated. Got about 77 earthquakes here in the last 12 hours, and that's mainly across this area of interest there in the Grindavik area. So we'll continue to watch that. The graphs out here, the GPS graphs and the inflation activity still shows some high inflation across the region. It doesn't matter really where you look at. There's definitely still a lot of pressurization going on here below the area of Grindavik and the surrounding regions, the Svartsengi area as well. That's going to be this timestamp down here. Really haven't seen any major drop off that would indicate a major relief in pressure from the area below, but we'll continue to watch that. Again, elevated earthquake activity across the region here of Iceland. Kind of coming up here on that 30-day period in between these eruptions, kind of like what we've seen in December and January. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, earthquake activity. Going to jump here into Hawaii as well. This activity has not calmed down, and I said it last night that I'm really surprised they jumped on the boat and said that things are no longer a concern out here. Pretty much that's what they stated in their last update. Let's go check that out here real quick. By the way, let me refresh this here. Show you guys, got about 3,114 earthquakes since the 28th of January up to today's time frame. That is the 4th, 3 o'clock Hawaii time. I think that's about right. Obviously, the area of interest that we've seen is this large uptick here from about the 31st to the 3rd. Things started to calm down a little bit after that, but it never really died down. That's still a lot of earthquake activity. The layer up at the top shows surface. That's magma adjustment going on just below the surface. Deeper regions here as well. Down there about, looks like some 30 to 40 kilometer deep earthquakes. So we've seen some adjustment going on below, potentially some further magma on the rise. Far as the latest update here from the Hawaii folks, let's go ahead and check this out real quick and see what's going on there at Kilauea Volcano with respect to the government mentioning here. Let's see, are they up? See if they put out an update yet. Doesn't look like it. Last update was put out yesterday, and they just basically they stated that they're lowering the threat level because the likelihood of an eruption has decreased. They're stating that seismicity in the summit and along the fault system out here has decreased significantly over the past 24 hours. But let's go look at it ourselves. Okay, let's go see. Earthquake activity, right? It slowed down significantly according to their site here. Now, unfortunately, it looks like this has gone down once again. This is put out from this is from the 2nd. You guys see that? That is not good. So does that mean yesterday's activity was from the 2nd as well? Look at that. See that? Timestamp here, 2-2. Yeah, so how are we able to check and verify that activity has significantly gone down? There is no way of knowing now. It just goes up until the second right here. All right, well, what can we do? Got to wait until, I guess, Monday when the folks there hopefully get everything back up and running. I mean, all of these are from the second, it looks like, unfortunately. As far as tilt meter, let's see if we got any data going on here for this. This looks like it's, what are these, 3-day intervals? And even so, this might be off a little bit. So I'm not for sure what's going on, but their data system is way behind. I know they've been switching up on some network issues, but and this goes to the second as well. So all of this is basically irrelevant when it comes to looking at the raw data. The only form of raw data that we can monitor is the activity there across the live seismograph station, Hot Capes, Hawaii. And that does show a couple earthquakes there in the last 20 minutes or so. But, yeah, I mean, can't really do much about it. I'm not in charge of this. Hopefully the folks that are will get to this, because that's kind of key to watching, you know, all of the activity. Let's check out the webcams. Well, is it still dark over there? No, just about light. Sunrise coming up out there across the big island, behind these clouds here. Obviously, volcanic gases out there across the lava lake area. Very typical. We've seen this for quite a while. I don't see any unusual activity out there across the rift zones. East rift zone out here. Get this to key up. This is today's time frame. At least we got live images out here, right? Can kind of see what's going on. But I like to look at the raw data, and man, is it a bummer when I can't view that. So we'll have to watch that and see if they get that fixed. It's like the whole network out here is down for some reason. All right, so all right, we'll move on and just see what happens here. The earthquakes that these guys are reporting, I guess we have to take the word for it here that this is the correct amount of earthquakes and the correct magnitudes. Shows still a couple twos out here in the area of the close to the southwest rift zone out here, where we've seen that magma intrusion going on, and they're only showing about 54 earthquakes here in the last 24 hours. So we'll have to wait and see when the live when the other seismograph stations pop up. All right, Oklahoma out here, a little aftershock occurring where that 5-pointer struck here a couple days ago. Looks like we did see a couple more earthquakes there just after midnight. Some 2s and some 1s out here. Some aftershock activity. That is expected there following that 5-pointer. I don't think we're going to see anything bigger out there for now, but as always, just got to be prepared. A little bit of movement outside the OKC area to the west as well. Out, I don't know if there's any oil fields out here or not, but Hinton, is that the right pronunciation? Hopefully 1.9 and a 1.7 out here this morning. Continual activity across the area of Texas around the oil fields and the west coast region. Well, let's see what this little swarm's doing out here. Most of this is from yesterday here. Really don't see anything new out here that would qualify a important observation. This 2.5 from yesterday as well. Aside from that, general small microquake activity. A lot of rain coming into Southern California. We'll check out the weather here in just a little bit. Yellowstone. Let's double check Yellowstone and see. Nothing's going to show up on the map unless it was a 2.5 there on the USGS map. I know that by now. So I just go straight to the source, and these guys are at least up to par in terms of the correct time. 2.4, 1600 UTC time, which it is, well, yeah, because of the time difference there, I believe, but 1700 here on my end. Earthquake activity still kicking there, it looks like overnight. Some very small earthquake activity around the Maple Creek area. But aside from that, most of the movement out here looks fairly quiet. It does look like there was some larger event here about 3 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Where was that at? Looks like that's a larger quake out away from the area. 5.2, 5.1. I don't know. That's a little weird. What's this one? Oh, 3.5, about 2 o'clock in the morning right there. So I was observing this signature right here. Looked like a distant earthquake, large one. That did show up on a couple seismograph stations here, even down in the Moose Creek, Idaho area. And that's coming off of a 3.5 northern Nevada, or very close to the Sheldon. It used to be called the Sheldon National Wildlife Refuge or Antelope Refuge. I was out there a couple years back studying a earthquake swarm that kicked off out there. A lot of older volcanic activity, seen a lot of obsidian, a lot of volcanic features out here in this region. So that was during a big swarm that they were having out here a couple years ago. But now looks like a little 3.5 stirring up out there, very shallow at the 0 kilometer depth. I don't know if this has been reviewed or not. It has been reviewed. 3.5 out there in that same region. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Nothing major going on across the coast. Far as, and like I say, we didn't really see anything large scale overnight, just a couple of 4s and 5s. One earthquake down here across the Guam area, 5.4, about 1 o'clock this morning. 52 kilometers deep there for that region. Mixed bag of earthquake activity across the Indonesia Islands area. And of course, that's very typical down there in this area. Some deeper movement quakes, though. Look at that super deep one. Let's see, which quake is that going to be? This one right here. 4.3, almost 600 kilometers deep. Goodness. Keep an eye on that area. Definitely showing some elevated movement there, potentially, because of the deeper activity. Down across New Zealand, what's going on here? A little zipper fashion of an earthquake activity event here. Stretching all across the plate boundary. Looks like a couple 3s stirring up out there across North and South Island, New Zealand. Let's go over and check it out and see what's going on here. I'll check out Timothy's site here, newzealandquakes.com. Pretty decent site in terms of monitoring earthquake activity out here across the New Zealand region. Looks like that strongest is going to be the 4.4 from the that's today's time frame. Up along the Kermadec Trench, though, latest earthquake of 1.5. And there's definitely some other earthquake activity down south here that looks like it's on the 3 range. Let me go back over here to GeoNet servers here real quick and see what's going on. Couple 2s out there, some 1s. There's that 4.4 Kermadec Trench. There's another 2. I know there was a 3 somewhere, 3.6 there off the North Island coast, but I'm looking for the one down south there. Yeah, maybe it got revised or deleted. Doesn't look like there's too much activity stirring up there. A good way of looking is checking the drums out here, seeing how active they are. There's some of that movement up along the Kermadec Trench and North Island area. The seismograph stations there positioned in the red circle with their location. South Island really not showing a lot, so that must be a see this 3.4 down here must have been a deleted event because it's not showing up anywhere across those seismograph stations there. All right, what else we got here? Mediterranean, fairly quiet, a handful of earthquakes, very typical. Not a whole lot across the Atlantic aside from that swarming going on there off the coast of Iceland. Definitely keep an eye on that. And South America appears to be the very active region here recently. Definitely looks like things are crazy down there. A lot of 2s and a lot of 3s, including a 2.6 coming in right now, it looks like. Some activity off the coast here of Baja California. Looks like a couple 4s stirring up down there. USGS is not reporting them, but definitely showing up here on the Earthquake 3D globe. There are a couple 4s and some 3s off the coast, right in the Gulf there of California around this plate boundary. It's a bummer about the seismograph stations. Hopefully they get that up and running. Space weather activity here real quick. We'll go to the solarham.net site. Looks like we're currently flaring with an M flare from that far side sunspot. Look at that. Very active region out there. I think this is going to be something to watch here. It's been popping off C flares yesterday, and now we got M flare activity, so that is going to be a very active region. 3576. Let's check it out today. Ooh, wow, that is a huge sunspot out here. Looks like maybe a trail of activity behind it. Definitely got to keep an eye on that. Another sunspot region that's grown quite nicely is this area down here. Look at the complex, deep core colors around that magnetic field. That does harbor some X flare potential. Overall threat, 99% chance for a C flare, M flare at 60, X flare around 15% chance. And again, we're currently flaring with an M1.1 flare. A couple of these sunspot regions are definitely dynamic in terms of their complexity, and those are the ones to watch for some flaring. Definitely keep an eye on those sunspot areas. Not a whole lot of auroras currently taking place. Potentially here over the next 24 hours or so, we could see some elevated solar storming there that could kick up around the 4 to 5 kp index there, which would be around the G1 class storm. Not really expecting much though. All right, check this out. Let's make sure I got the most recent image here. West Coast low pressure storm. You can see that starting to form and deepen, getting that comma type of view. This low pressure tapping in to a lot of subtropical moisture, and that extends way down south. Look at that line of moisture right here. Got a lot to work with. This thing is definitely strengthening here, so it's going to undergo a really rapid intensification process as it continues throughout the day today. Bring in with it a lot of rain. I've almost picked up an inch of rain here at my house overnight, and it's still coming down, and it's expected to come down over the next 12 hours or so here in Northern California. Should get about 3 inches here around the Chico area. We are looking at potential flooding concerns as well. Not as big time as down south here across Los Angeles. These guys are underneath a high risk, the highest you can go in terms of a risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. So these guys are expecting quite a bit of rainfall here today. Up here in Sacramento Valley northward, we got yellow, which is a slight. But either way, we're still expecting to get quite a bit of rainfall. And that's just a absolutely beautiful storm system. Can't wait to see what it does after it's all said and done. Let's go over here to the windy map and check out the current radar. See what we got going on out here. Currently, a lot of moisture out here filling up. Most of it, the heavier stuff, has been over here off the side, the west side of the valley into the coast range. But up here around Chico, we're definitely getting some decent rainfall. This is all funneling in from the south. We'll bring in the last 6 hours or so and show you guys up here in Northern California. Just kind of been pushing its way up north. And that is going to work down. It's going to work its way down south here, that low pressure. Look at that. These waves just coming right in there to Southern California. Slowly dipping down here towards Los Angeles. It may not be raining a lot right now, but that will be headed your way. And when it does, it's going to be quite a bit of rainfall across that area. Definitely some flood warnings and whatnot going on down there. And up here in Northern California as well. I might be out and about today. Looking for some footage for maybe some news agencies here that might want to see some flooding videos. Always like to go out and just report on stuff like that, because we do have quite a bit of rain coming in. Let's see what we got. And we do have potential here for some thunderstorm activity as well. Let me bring this up. There's the general thunderstorm risk out here in the light green. Marginal risk for some severe weather, roughly about the Bay Area southward, around Salinas. We are expecting the potential of some, who knows, maybe some water spouts or a brief spin up of tornadoes. They're in the 2% zone. Not a whole lot of hail threat, but wind threat we do have as well, potentially with any thunderstorms that pop up out here. So that's a possibility. And of course, there's our storm system out here. GFS model shows the rainfall rates and whatnot. It's going to get stronger. It definitely will get stronger throughout the afternoon. And this is a heavy-duty band of rain that should be over my neck of the woods here later on this afternoon. And Southern California, there's that heavy-duty rain coming in across the Los Angeles area. These guys are definitely going to get a decent amount of rain, and that kind of moves out of the way. But man, it looks a little bit wetter as well as we head through the week. Roughly unsettled. I think we get a little break here coming up. Maybe not. Maybe not. Look at that, another strong storm. Goodness, this has changed a lot since last night, and it may change again. But I don't know. I like it. I'm not going to sit here and say, gosh darn it, I want the sun. Definitely not. I definitely enjoy the rainfall out here. All right. What else do we have out here, folks? I mean, let's go over and check Florida here, see what we have going on. It looks like they removed the slight risk category. Still got a decent chance, or maybe 2% chance of tornado probability across Florida. Some wind and hail threat, but doesn't look like much is going on out there for severe weather potential for now. Here's day 2 tomorrow, and this is kind of neat. Got a chance for some thunderstorms out here across a good portion of California. All right, folks, I'm out of here. I'll have to wait for the seismograph stations there, the recorded ones there across Hawaii, for it to come back online. They've just been going offline, and they've been doing a decent job of getting them back up when someone requests it. But I don't think we should have to request the data to come back online. It's technically should be their job to make sure that it's online. But I can understand they are doing some networking plans and kind of changing some servers and whatnot there across the USGS Volcano's network. But I'll definitely continue to report back on this stuff when it becomes available. For now, we got the live stream up, and the Hot Caves Hawaii station is the one to watch for earthquake activity there across Hawaii. I don't know where my Iceland station went to. I don't have it up here, do I? I have to bring that back up. All right, anyway, folks, I'm out of here. Have yourself a good day. I will be out and about. Maybe I'll pop on the live stream here on the mobile device, show you guys a little visual perspective here from my end, if I see any flooding out here around my neck of the woods. I don't really have woods out here, but my neck of the fields. There we go. Have a good day. We'll catch you guys back here a little bit later.